Hi, come to watch me work. What we're doing here today is we're replacing the siding on this old house where there used to be a door. Now the real tricky part is trying to match the old siding from another part of the house to this part of the newer part of the house. Now, unfortunately, you can't get this kind of wood anymore, so what we've had to do is very carefully pry it off of the old wall and then cut it to fit where there was once no siding. Now it's best to make the little mark like a crow's foot, because that really indicates where the real mark is, 32 and a half. Now this here is a compound miter saw. It runs about $400–500 in a hardware store. When using old wood, it's best to make pilot holes with a drill before hammering a nail in, because it's very easy to split the wood. A nail acts like a wedge, and it forces the wood grain apart at its weakest point, which is right where the nail's going through. Thus, instead of having one piece nailed to a wall, you have two pieces half nailed to a wall. You always see them making mistakes. Sean, let me take you for a tour around the house, and I'll show you some of the other things that we've done today. Now, we had several choices in the renovation of this house. It spans over many decades. This door here seems to be from the 50s. The window is from the 40s. So what we did was we took a room that used to have 70s style linoleum on it, tore the linoleum out and all of the particle board underneath, and took that to the dump and sanded down the original floor underneath. Along this wall here, there was nothing but a window looking out into a bare, empty little triangle land. And now we have a nice double French door leading out into what is still a bare triangle of land, but will someday be a nice, cozy, private garden. Of course, right now you can't see much. This is all bars. These are all bars that used to be on the windows, blocking the views with horizontal patterns that are just ugly. We added this molding trim around the doors to give it a more 20s feel of craftsmanship, which is very rare these days, and added fixtures from the same period. What used to be there was something from the 70s. It was a pair of cone lamps that looked sort of like breasts. Now, where you see this door used to be shelves, but we can take you now into what is locked. A very dusty bathroom. But I think you can get an idea of what it looks like if you just go on in. This is a new bathtub purchased for this room. Previously, there was no bathtub at all in here. Where you see this small slotted window used to be a door to the exterior. And instead of just making a full wall there, I kept a small slotted window so that you can see the view while you're showering. Sort of give you an idea of what the day is going to be like. What used to be a louvered glass jalousie window, we replaced with a solid piece of frosted glass for privacy of the person taking a shower. We put in all new fixtures for the shower, but kept the old mirror and created a period style with the tiles by detailing them, something that was not done for the last 20 or 30 years. It's hard to find craftsmanship from the 1970s and the 1980s because it simply did not exist. People didn't care about each other enough to do this sort of thing. And basically, one would end up living in a bare minimum. minimally decorated house, which really wouldn't do anything for your soul. Now in this kitchen, there was an ugly black and white check tile floor, which is pretty much the same as what we have now, only it was black and white, a colder feeling. This is a nice warm green and yellow tone. We have the original stove from the 70s, and a chopping block that I got at a yard sale for just $30. But look how perfectly it fits next to the stove. And as you would notice, we now have the perfect preparation triangle for any course that you would want to cook for your guests. The stove, which is actually point 3. Point 1, you would wash your vegetables or meats. Point 2, prepare them. And point 3, toss them into the skillet. What you see here is the blank wall, where there used to be no wall at all. In fact, the wall used to be here, and it used to lead, there was a doorway that led into the foyer, which is now part of the bathroom. All of this makes much more sense. Then you have the inset for the wall where the refrigerator is, and thus the end of the kitchen. Old floor was underneath part of the black and white checkered floor that it was part of the kitchen. It was a mere continuation of the kitchen into this void, which really made no sense at all. We took up that floor and the particle board underneath and found this old recycled flooring from maybe that used to be part of a building. Right here, you'll notice, is a small hole, pair of holes actually, which signifies that there used to be an electrical fixture there, but the only place you would see something like that is on a ceiling, which means that these boards used to be part of a ceiling in an old house. Oh, well, let me continue. To finish this room, we opened up this wall, which was also just a window, so that now you may have, in the summertime, a nice, private breakfast patio. After all the debris is cleared out, you will see how beautiful a place this can be. Ah, what a thing to wake up to in the morning. To give the house a more unified feel, we matched the same trim and molding as we did in the living room. Baseboards, nice wide baseboards, give you a good feeling of warmth. Same trim over the doors as in the living room. Now in the bedroom, you will see that it is actually the least finished looking part of the house. The only contribution that we did here, the only change that we made, was we peeled the ordinary plaster ceiling off the ceiling to expose this old wood, obviously from another house also. Here you see another pair of these electrical things. You'll see the matching fixture matches the living room. Now this room here, if you're a clever landlord, you can get the tenants to do all kinds of things. Now the tenant has decided he didn't like this floor, which I informed him that I was incapable of removing due to the financial restraints that we landlords have. So he decided that he didn't like it either and has offered to remove it himself. In addition to removing the floor, he will sand the floor, refinish it, and add baseboard moldings to match the other room. I, being a kind landlord, will finish this room with door, a nice closet door, and some molding trim. Now to put in a closet door, I went to a salvage place and got a pair of doors. And I will hang some special hardware, and it will become a nice sliding bifold door combination. That's all this room really needs. But until then, it's home with a view. With a clean glass. Now this is what the house looks like from the outside. As you can see, it's quite unique, the way it's just crammed into the back of the property the way it is. But for what it is, it's a beautiful place. And note the beautiful views. most people don't realize that there are this many mountains in Los Angeles. See the view of the snow-capped mountains. Now for the 360-degree view.